Hi crafty friends, it's Shana from ShanoukiArt. This is Full Deck Challenge 1. This is Full Deck Challenge 2. Now, welcome to Full Deck Challenge 3. While I show you the cards from Full Deck Challenge 1, I will explain how this challenge is going to work. We are going to alter a full deck of cards for the year of 2025. I will post my card every Thursday here on YouTube at 11 p.m. Melbourne time. The overall theme for the deck is mini collage. And then I'm going to have a prompt for each card at the beginning of each video. We're going to go back to basics. So the first few cards are going to be pretty simple, but we're going to enhance the techniques as we progress through the deck. You can follow my tutorial and create your card like mine, or you can use my tutorial as inspiration and create your own. If you don't have a deck of cards to work on, that is also okay. Shortly, I will go through how to choose your cards and also what to use if you don't have cards. I always encourage for you to use what you have. A great way to go through your craft room and find all those little bits that you've never used or have forgotten about and add them to your cards. I don't have many rules. I just really want you to have fun and experiment. Anyone can join. You can start at any time, on any deck, and with any card. If you're on Facebook, you can also join my group. Just search Full Deck Challenge Group. There, you can share your cards if you like, and you can gain inspiration from other creations too. If you have any questions at any time, please leave them in the comments. I will get back to them as soon as I can and answer to the best of my ability. I really hope you enjoy Full Deck Challenge 3 as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Now let's talk about our playing cards. Not all playing cards are created equal. I have used different types and brands from different places, and I have found that the ones that are extremely cheap, like $1 or less, are not really great. They are extremely shiny and nothing adheres to them really well, and they're also rather thin. I find the ones that are a little bit of a better quality are a stronger card and have a matte finish, which are easier to work on. I know that some people who use those super shiny ones say that if you run sandpaper over the surface, it removes some of that shine and it helps it to adhere to mixed media items. I haven't tried it. I tend to like to use cards with a matte finish. The ones I'm going to be using for Full Deck Challenge 3 have a linen finish. They are the Waitingtons brand, and I've purchased these from Woolworths here in Australia. They're roughly $4 for the pack. They are made of a nice thick cardstock and they're not shiny at all. They have a matte finish, and if you can see, a bit difficult on the video, it sort of looks like a softly textured finish, sort of like linen fabric. Now, of course, you don't have to use playing cards for the Full Deck Challenge. You can use whatever you have. The idea of using a playing card was to keep the substrate small so we have a smaller surface to work on. But of course, you can also go big. If you've got the jumbo playing cards, you can work on those. There are also medium-sized ones and also smaller ones. Who knew that playing cards come in so many different sizes? You don't have any playing cards? That's not a problem. Here's a whole lot of other things that you could use instead. This is a flashcard from a child's memory game, a project life card or any kind of journaling card, a joke card. These come in the Christmas crackers, a game card. Just be sure it's not a really valuable one before you start gluing on it. Another kid's alphabet card. Any piece of card. This is from an old calendar that I've cut up. Even a piece of corrugated cardboard. You could use an index card or flash card, scrapbook paper, old packaging that you can cut up, And you don't need 52 of the same thing. You can have different ones for each week. What a great way to use up your bits and bobs. If you want, you could also work in some kind of a mixed media journal, or even a notebook, or even an old book. Lots of options for something called Full Deck Challenge 3. Like I said, rules are few. One rule I have made is that you need to pick one element from the card you've just made and use that in the card you're making next. I will explain this in more detail when I show you card 1 and it'll make more sense. Another rule is that you need to use one thing, the same thing, in every card. For example, I'm using a postage stamp. So I have 52 postage stamps and I'm going to add one in each of my cards throughout the weeks. And I think that's enough talking from me. Let's get started with card number 1. And the prompt for this card is red. And remembering our overall theme of mini collage, we're going to collect all little bits of red that we have. It can also be threads, buttons, embellishments, fibers, fabrics, anything that we have in that color. A great place to find this is in magazines. Washi tapes, stickers, anything you have. It doesn't all have to be a solid color. It can be something with red in it. So dig through your stuff and see what you can find. Of course, we're not going to use everything. We're going to have a variety of choice and we're going to see what we're going to use. So I do obviously have a lot more stuff than I'm going to need. That's just because I'm a hoarder, so I have a lot of things. Even if you have 1 or 2 things, that will work fine too. Remembering, we're working on a plain card. It's a really small surface. We don't actually need much. I'm going to be using Mod Podge for my gluing and a flat paintbrush. You can also use gel medium, craft glue, whatever you have. Go through your pile of red goodies and find a couple of interesting pieces that you want to start with. I've started with the sticker that I really like, and then I've realized it's actually transparent. I thought it was white with the red print, so I'm going to save that for a little bit later. I want to add a base paper first, something more solid. I have this piece of scrapbook paper. As you can see, it's not solid red. It does have red spots on, so it fits the prompt. I'm going to start with this. I'm going to apply my Mod Podge to the one side, and I'm going to apply a piece of the spotty paper to the left of the card. I'm then going to apply my transparent sticker over this, trimming off the excess. Now when we're doing our mini collages, we're going to add small bits or bigger bits of our different items in a random way. We're going to overlap some, we're going to have some next to each other, we're going to leave some spaces. You can move all your little bits around until you find something that you're happy with. I love using numbers in mine, so I have this red print on a beige background. I'm going to add that to my piece. I found this cute little map. It is of Africa, of the African continent, and it has got a red trim all the way around, which I think suits my theme, and I really wanted to use it. For those who maybe haven't picked up on my accent, which is a bit difficult not to, I do have a South African accent. I was born and raised there. I'm not living in Australia, but there's still South African in me and in my heart. So I really wanted to try and use this in today's card. I didn't end up using it because I couldn't find a good spot, but I'm definitely keeping it for future use. And that also shows that your card won't always turn out like you imagine it or how you think it will be. I had pictured it using that map piece because I had found it and thought it was going to be perfect, but it didn't actually work out. And that is totally okay. The idea is to experiment and try different things and really learn not to stress about everything. Just try and relax, have fun, and just let the papers and the colors take you. I'm trying some solid red now to try and ground everything. This is a piece of red vellum, so you actually can see through it a little bit, but I love the bold red color of it. And as I was putting these pieces together, the top right-hand corner, as you can see, was staying sort of open without anything glued on there. And at this point, I decided that I'm going to leave that showing on every card. In my previous deck challenges, I have sometimes and most times covered the entire card that you can't even tell it's a playing card anymore, which I think is totally fine. I know not everybody is okay with that, but I'm fine with it. But for this one, I thought I'm going to do it a little bit differently. And although I said I don't have many rules, I do have maybe a few rules for this challenge. But of course, you don't have to stick to them. You can do whatever you want. I used double-sided tape to stick down that red vellum. I find glue makes the vellum curl. Double-sided tape works best for me. And I'm going to glue down these other little bits that I like the positioning of. I have tried before getting all my pieces together and placing them in place before I start gluing. I find that sometimes a bit frustrating because the pieces sort of tend to slip, and then when you do try and stick everything, you forgot where the original pieces were. So this one I'm going to sort of stick as I go. If I like the positioning of a couple of pieces, I'm just going to stick those down. That also prevents you from also moving everything around over and over and over again. Sort of make a decision, stick it down, and move to the next piece. We can add some texture as we go. I'm going to add some red thread underneath my postage stamp. My usual, cutting a piece, scrumpling it up, and then placing it underneath my postage stamp. You don't need additional glue. The glue that you place on the piece going on top of the thread is normally plenty to stick everything down. Now, when I started this first card and when I had this idea for this challenge, I just thought mini collage. I love doing the glue booking. If you've seen in any of my other videos, I just love putting pieces together and gluing them. I find it relaxing, I find it therapeutic, and I find it a lot of fun. That is why I themed this deck with this. But as I was creating this very first card, the ideas came to me. One, about keeping one of the corners open so you can see it's a playing card. You can see the suit and the number. And as you saw a little bit earlier, I applied the red postage stamp with the thread underneath. And I thought I have so many postage stamps, I'm going to use them in this challenge. I've challenged myself to use a postage stamp in every single card. And then the third thing that I discovered while I was creating this, that spotty paper that's in the background. As you can see, it's got lots of different colored spots. In there is orange. Now, a little spoiler, the theme for the next card, for card number 2, is going to be orange. So I thought that this paper can be used in the second card too. And then that's where my idea came, that I'm going to use an element from my previous card in the new card that I'm making. So of course, this is the first card, so everything is just on its own. But from my next card, I'm going to include the spotty paper, which is an element from this card. And then some element from that card will then be included in the following card, if that makes sense. A few little challenges within the challenge, just to keep it interesting. Now, although the prompt for this card is red, I am going to add a few little spots of turquoise. If you can see in my spotty background paper, there is some turquoise spots, and I want to continue a little bit of that turquoise just on the top side of the card, just to create the balance. So when I say red is the prompt, not everything has to be solid red and bright red. You can have red elements, you can have other colors too that are contrasting or complementary that create balance and interest to your card. Now, I know I've done a lot of talking in this video, a lot more talking than I normally do. But I wanted to explain my thought process as to how I came about with the idea for this challenge, or at least the theme for this deck 3, and also how the ideas came about while I was creating this first card for those little rules that I've added. Let's not call them rules, let's call them challenges or mini challenges. Now back to my altered playing card, I'm using a black fine liner pen and I'm just creating some little scribbles in the bottom left. The black color then balances out with the top right where I've got the black print of the card. I'm also adding a black trim on the stars. So a quick summary, this is Full Deck Challenge 3. It is absolutely free, available here on my YouTube channel indefinitely, as long as YouTube is up and running. You can come back and watch these episodes whenever you want. You can join the challenge at any time. You can start with any card on any deck, or you can follow along with me on this brand new challenge. The 3 mini challenges for your cards. If you are using playing cards, let some of the suit show, the number and the suit of the card. use a postage stamp or choose another element that you'll repeat on all 52 cards. And then every time you create a card, pick one element from that card to use in your next card. And I'm going to keep all my cards together on one of these rings. For this deck, I'm going to punch the hole in the middle top of my card, not the corner like in previous challenges. I really hope you enjoyed this first video of Full Deck Challenge 3. I hope I explained everything well. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I really hope you enjoyed it and were inspired. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell so you're notified every time I upload new content. The Full Deck Challenge 3 videos will air every Thursday at 11 p.m. Melbourne time. Thanks again for watching. Happy creating, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.